Stop copying that text now. And I mean right now, and listen up. One of the reasons why you get low grades in your academic work, whether it is your assignments or your modules or your dissertation or your thesis, or even as a researcher, why your draft gets rejected by publishers, is because you are excessively obsessed with external sources. By that, I mean that you copy too much from existing literature and insert into your work. It is dangerous. It is very, very dangerous. And you must find a way of putting a stop to it. Otherwise, you will be caught again in academic fraud, academic malpractice. And you know what that means. Now let's examine when you can use direct quotes and when you cannot use direct quotes, when you should and when you should not, why you should and why you should not. Condition number one, why you can't use direct quotes, is when you want to retain the powerful effect that an existing literature, an existing quote from an authority or a author or a scholar or a professional creates in the mind of your reader, whether it is your professor or your marker or your supervisor. So you want to retain direct quote, the exact words of an author, because it has its own special effect it creates in the mind of those who read them. Take for example, I am examining gas densities, and I need to use Thomas Graham's law of effusion or diffusion. So that law is sacrosanct because the law itself creates some kind of effect. And what I would need to do is to retain that law without changing anything, copy it verbatim and insert it into my work. That's number one condition. The second thing is, if that idea or that phrase or statement is commonly used, maybe it has become commonplace. For example, Socrates' unexamined life is not worth living. It is commonplace, it is a general idea that has become a maxim. So I want to retain that because it is commonly used and I cannot change anything there without distorting probably the idea of Socrates. Number three reason why you can use direct quotes is when the quotes or the statements from the existing author or authority will also enhance or reinforce your argument. For example, you have made some thesis statements and you need existing authority to support your claim, to support your argument, to give teeth to your argument. Then you can retain direct quotes. You can bring in direct quote in that instance so that it will support your argument, it will corroborate what you have said. And again, if you also want to make comparison, probably between two authors or between two authorities or two professionals, you could also use direct quote in that instance, wherein one, say authority A and authority B, are contrasting each other or they are corroborating each other. So you want to bring the idea or statement of authority A and the statement of authority B and see where their ideas converge or diverge. Again, when you are using direct quotes, you must ensure that they sit logically with the preceding paragraph and the succeeding paragraph, such that the preceding paragraph will lead you to the direct quote, and the succeeding paragraph will do some bit of analysis, will do some bit of expansion on what direct quote is all about. So there is the need for you at the end of the day to expand on what that direct quote is talking about. So you don't just leave direct quote and leave it hanging. It is not right, it is not scholarly, it is not academic. So ensure that you do a bit of analysis after putting up your direct quotes. Wherever you want to place it in your work, ensure that it sits logically and it makes sense and it's also relevant. So when should you not use direct quotes? To avoid misinterpretation. A lot of times we bring in quotes that are not relevant or that do not sit logically with the analysis we're making preceding the direct quote. So if that analysis is different from the quote you are bringing, you tend your reader or your supervisor to mistake and misinterpret what you're saying. And that is why it is very important you don't rely too much on direct quotes. The other consequence, apart from misinterpretation, of excessive use of direct quotes is that your engagement, your critical engagement, your analytical prowess is in doubt. So your reader probably begins to see that you have not engaged with the text properly. So if you use too many direct quotes, that is the implication that you have not engaged your work critically, especially the text you have consulted or you have claimed to have consulted. You have not engaged them critically. And the other thing that we bring again as a consequence is that you are separating yourself from your marker or your supervisor, such that the supervisor no longer sees you through your work. He sees the external source. So at every point they are reading your work, instead of seeing your analysis, instead of seeing your analytical power, what they are seeing is the face, the thoughts, the ideas of those authorities that you have used. In that case, you are out of the picture, and what you are seeing is your supervisor and the authorities you have used. So you are no longer in the picture. The overall consequence of using direct quotes, of too many direct quotes, I must say, is that you risk having been left with a plagiarized work. And you know what that means? You are getting involved or potentially getting involved in academic malpractice, in intellectual fraud. If you're using too many direct quotes, if you take your work, especially to Turnitin, the results will show that the similarity percentage increases while the originality percentage decreases. And it is a signal to plagiarized content. It is a signal that the work you have claimed to have produced, the work you have claimed to have been original, is not original. What you do essentially is copy and paste, copy and paste. And when you do copy and paste or copy and insert, you are potentially telling your supervisor or you are potentially telling your reader or your marker that it is no longer your work. So ensure as much as possible to reduce how many direct quotes you use in your work. It does not help your criticality. It does not help your analytical engagement with plagiarized content. It is a signal that the work you have claimed to have produced, the work you have claimed to have been original, is not original. What you do essentially is copy and paste, copy and paste. And when you do copy and paste or copy and insert, you are potentially telling your supervisor or you are potentially telling your reader or your marker that it is no longer your work. So ensure as much as possible to reduce how many direct quotes you use in your work. It does not help your criticality. It does not help your analytical engagement with text. So you must ensure that you do more of paraphrasing, you do more of citing, you do more of referencing, you do more of writing them in your own words rather than copying words verbatim. Engage the text, read the text, understand what the text is saying, read other texts, second reader, third reader, have ideas of those who have interpreted those texts. If you find them difficult to understand, find ideas from those who have interpreted those works or have written something on those works, and ensure that you analyze those concepts, because there could be concepts that are used that you want to retain. Yes, that's good. But if you see that they are becoming too many, ensure that you reduce them to the minimum, the barest minimum, so that at the end of the day, your work carries with it the originality that it deserves. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have enjoyed it, I would like you to click the subscribe button, give the notification button on, so that as soon as I drop the next video, it comes straight to your lap and you're able to watch it and give your 5-star. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.